We've all been there, right? You're staring at a frozen Excel screen, the little wheel is spinning, and you're waiting and waiting for what feels like an eternity. Well, today, we're going to fix that. We are tackling one of the most common and, frankly, most infuriating problems out there, the mysteriously slow Excel file. It's a question that makes no sense. You've got a beast of a machine, tons of RAM, a super fast processor, but your spreadsheet is just crawling. It feels like you're working on a computer from 2 decades ago. So what on earth is going on here? And hey, it's not just you. This is a real quote from a user, a high-end monster PC brought to its knees by a single spreadsheet. The good news is the problem usually isn't your computer at all. Nope, it's something hiding inside the file itself. Okay, so here's our game plan to get this fixed. First, we'll talk about the problem itself. Then we'll uncover the usual suspects causing the slowdown. After that, I'm going to walk you through 3 levels of fixes, some quick setting tweaks, a proper worksheet cleanup, and finally, some really powerful optimization tricks for those extra stubborn files. First things first, if your Excel is lagging, I want you to know you're not alone. This is an incredibly common issue, and it happens to everyone, even pros with the most powerful computers you can buy. And the symptoms are just maddening, aren't they? You go to click on a cell and you have to wait 30 seconds. You try to copy and paste something and you might as well go get a coffee because the program is just completely frozen. It's awful. All right, so before we can fix it, we have to know what we're fighting against. So let's pop the hood and diagnose what's actually causing all this trouble. And spoiler alert, it's almost never about your computer's power. The problem is almost always some hidden junk inside the file itself. We're talking about invisible shapes, way too many formatting rules, Excel constantly recalculating everything, and this thing called ghost data just clogging up the whole system. Okay, time for the fun part. Let's start with some quick wins. These are super simple changes you can make in Excel's settings that can give you a massive speed boost right away. Now this first one, I know it sounds a little weird. You'd think hardware acceleration is a good thing, right? And sometimes it is, but in Excel, it can often clash with your computer's graphics drivers and cause major slowdowns. So by checking this little box, you're telling Excel to just use the main processor, which, believe it or not, can make it run way faster. Okay, next up, if you have a spreadsheet with a ton of formulas, you've definitely seen that little calculating message at the bottom of the screen. By default, Excel reruns every single formula in your entire file every single time you change one cell. That's kind of crazy, and it's a huge waste of resources. So let's take back control. Think of this like switching your car from automatic to manual. Instead of Excel constantly revving the engine, you are in charge. You can make all the changes you want with zero lag, and then, only when you're ready, you just hit the F9 key and boom, Excel does all the math at once. All right, settings are tweaked. Now it's time to roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty. Let's go hunting for all the hidden junk that's been secretly piling up in your worksheet. You know, whenever you copy and paste data, maybe from a website or another document, well, you're not just grabbing the text. You're often dragging in all this invisible baggage. Tiny little pictures, text boxes, shapes. You can't see them, but there could be hundreds, even thousands, just sitting there, weighing your file down. But check this out. There's a magic trick to get rid of them all at once. This little go-to special command is like a secret weapon. It instantly finds and selects every single hidden object on your sheet. Then all you have to do is hit the delete key and poof, they're all gone. The other type of invisible baggage is conditional formatting. When you copy a cell that's, say, colored green, you're not just copying the color. You're copying the rule that made it green. Do that enough times and you can end up with thousands of duplicate or outdated rules that force Excel to work way harder than it needs to. So your command center for this cleanup is the Rule Manager. The key is to switch the view to this worksheet so you can see every single rule in one place. Just go through the list and be ruthless. If a rule looks like a duplicate or you don't recognize it, get rid of it. A cleaner rulebook means a much, much faster spreadsheet. Okay, for our final section, if your spreadsheet is still lagging, it's time to bring out the big guns. These next file optimization techniques can rescue even the absolute slowest spreadsheets out there. So let's imagine this is your spreadsheet. You've got your data, it's nice and tidy, and it ends right here on row 25. As far as you're concerned, this is a pretty small, simple file. But here's the thing. To Excel, your file might actually end way, way down here. at row 742,092. Even after you delete data, Excel has this weird habit of remembering the last cell you used, holding all that empty space in its memory. We call this ghost data, and it absolutely crushes performance. Getting rid of this ghost data is a pretty straightforward process, but there is one absolutely crucial step that everyone forgets. After you select and delete all those empty rows and columns, you have to save the file. Nothing actually changes until you hit save. Saving is what finally tells Excel to let go of all that empty space and reset its memory. Do not skip this step. And finally, here is a total game changer, especially for those really massive files. The next time you go to Save As, instead of picking the standard .xlsx format, I want you to look for this one in the dropdown, Excel Binary Workbook, or .xlsb. The difference is just incredible. A binary file stores data in a much more efficient, compact way. It doesn't change any of your data, your formulas, or your formatting, but it can literally shrink your file size by up to 80%. And a smaller file is always a faster file, period. So that's your toolkit for fighting back against a slow Excel file. In just a few minutes, you can check your settings, do a deep clean of all the hidden junk, and optimize the file itself by getting rid of ghost data and saving it in a smarter format. So, the next time you open up that critical spreadsheet and it starts to lag, don't just sit there and get frustrated. Take 5 minutes and look under the hood. What kind of hidden baggage is your file carrying? I promise you, you'll be surprised at what you find. And you'll be even more surprised at how incredibly fast that file can be once you clean it up.